All right, guys, welcome back to the show where we talk about all things fitness and sales. I've got an awesome guest with me today that I'm super excited to get into things with. This person has lived sales at the highest level. Very few people ever will, in my opinion. He's knocked over 250,000 doors, trained over 100,000 sales reps, including myself, and is really recognized as one of the top 1% sales leaders out there. He didn't just do it online. He did it on the doors, and I'm excited to kind of talk to him about that and his new company, Door to Door Destroyer Supplements. It is my man, Ashton Buswell. Thanks for being here, man.
Quinn, I'm excited to be with you, dude. Remember
Heck
your
yeah.
first time meeting you? That wasn't your first time selling, right? You've done some
Yeah.
sales before.
Yeah, I mean, I was pretty new. I was still pretty new
Pretty
into
new.
sales. Yeah. But
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
it was
Fresh
my
young
second
buck,
thing I've
dude.
sold. Yeah.
Yeah. Now look at you go, hosting a
I know, it's
podcast and
wild.
selling a billion things.
That's right, man. I love it. Well, I found out as well that it's your birthday, so happy birthday, Ashton. Thanks for coming
Thanks,
on during your
dude.
birthday.
You got it.
How old are we?
I'm 44 years old.
44. Okay. Heck yeah,
Yeah,
still
44
young.
years young. Yep.
That's right. I love it. Well, I guess for our audience and for myself, let's kind of I guess dig into your story a little bit and I guess take us back, man, like with Ashton. What got you into sales? I guess let's start there and like take us back to that experience of first getting into sales and what got you into sales. I guess we'll start there.
Yeah, I kind of fell into sales, so I'll tell you a story about trading carrots for gushers here in a second, but I uh, I kind of fell into sales. I wrestled in high school and college, and my state of Utah wrestling coach. I live in San Diego now, but the state of Utah wrestling coach, where I had wrestled for like Team Utah, his he I went and saw him. I came home after a mission for my church, and he was like, "Hey, Brandon, his son is out selling satellites. You should go out and sell satellites with him. You would be great at it." And I said, "I don't know
Okay.
anything about satellites. I don't know anything about sales." And he said, "Well, you don't have to know about sales. You just have to know how to work hard. They'll teach you how to sell. And I know you know how to work hard." And I was like, "Oh, well, yeah, I can work hard." He's like, when Brandon comes back from the summer, you should talk to him and just see if it's a good fit." And Brandon was actually the only guy I lost to my junior year of wrestling. He's such a stud of a guy. I was whooping everybody and I wanted a good match. So I dropped 10 pounds in 2 days to wrestle him, and he poked me in the eye and he beat me, the turd. But anyway, we became really good friends. And he came home from the summer and he said, "Hey man, you could go out and knock on doors and sell satellite dishes, dish network to people. It's cheaper than what they're currently paying. You get more channels and more options, and you can make $20,000 in a summer." And I was like, "Wait, if I can make $20,000 in a summer and just focus on grades and girls, dude, I'm gonna be in a good place, you know?" And I went out and I doubled that. I made 40,000 my first summer, and then have kind of just kept going with it. A lot of people use sales or door-to-door sales specifically as like a thing to do in college until you do your thing. But I became a regional manager for the company. Then that company went out of business, and I partnered up with another guy and we grew. And then I got out of door to door sales and moved to San Diego to start some companies with my brother. Got roped back into door to door sales in 20 end of 2013, started 2014 doing solar, and I've been in solar ever since. So
uh,
that was a really condensed version, but I kind of just
yeah,
fell
no,
into it. But
that's
my
yeah.
mom will tell you
That's
that
good.
I have some stories. She remembers me as a kid. We would get some candy for doing some chores and stuff, and she remembers me selling some of my candy, holding on to it, and then when other kids had eaten all their candy, like selling it to them. I
Oh
don't remember
wow.
much
Okay.
of that, but I do remember
So
being
you
a
were
kid and trading my carrots for gushers. The rich kids had gushers. I didn't. We weren't rich. My mom
yeah.
was healthy. I had carrots, and I remember selling some people be like, "Hey, listen, dude, I'll take one for the team. You should really have these carrots because they're going to be healthier for you than the gushers. The gushers aren't good for you. These are going to
Mm,
make you more full. The gushers aren't going to do that for you too. So for
yeah.
your sake, why don't we just trade, and I'll trade your my carrots for your gushers." And I got those sales every once in a while. It was either because people were like sick of me asking for their gushers enough, or because I actually sold them. I'm not sure which one it was.
That's hilarious. So you were a you're a natural born salesman then.
I don't know
You
that
know what they
anybody's
say, like, is
naturally.
that a yeah, I know, I was gonna ask, do you believe that is even a thing? Like
Yeah, I don't know.
the whole
I don't
question.
really believe naturally born. I do, and I there are people that have the gift of the gab, and I'm not necessarily a gift of the gab guy. Like the people that will sell ice to an Eskimo, like they don't need ice, man. I don't want to sell somebody something that they don't need, you know?
I agree with that.
But but there are people like just human connection ideas and human connection things that yeah, maybe there's a little bit of that. There's some science-based stuff about things with people, nurture versus nature. Have you
Yeah.
heard much of that
Yeah.
stuff, or are you familiar with
Yeah,
that
no,
concept?
totally. No, totally. And I've thought about this so much about sports and, how much is it your environment? How much is it, the natural ability? Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I've had so many debates about this for sure.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
it's an
Your
interesting
football
thing. Yeah,
ability, your athletic ability, some of that you were born with, right?
totally.
Some people are
Totally.
more coordinated than others out of the womb. I've got 4 kids. You know,
Yeah.
my second kid was on a rocking chair, this little rocking chair horse at like 1.5, standing with incredible balance and body awareness. And I'm like, what the freak? You know, so
Yeah.
some of that is
Interesting.
natural. So some of the sales bit is like human connection. Some of that's natural. But I think most of sales is actually nurture. Like
Mm,
you can learn how to communicate with people, you can learn how to sell people, you can learn how to have good conversations. I think most of it for the most part is actually you being able to learn the skill and then applying it.
yeah, I agree. Really, you can see yourself get better with sales. And so that proves that there's definitely a part of it that is, getting the reps and learning and nurturing around other people. Were you, I guess, at the beginning, because you kind of went through that first part, like were you just naturally good? Like, I mean, you went and sold, you got $40,000 in a summer. I guess, like, would you consider yourself someone that was just like picking it up very quickly? Did you like go through the beginning of like really not being very good? What was that process like for you?
My first day, I grew up just with the principle of like getting after it. And I drove into town. I didn't unpack my bags. I dropped my bags and we went right to Hood. And Jeff Mendez, that a lot of people know, was the first guy that took me on the doors. We were on the doors together. We got a sale together within like an hour and a half. And he said, all right, I got to go see these other people. I'll pick you up at 9 o'clock. And that was like the most of my extent of my training. I did, whether some
Crazy.
DVDs and stuff that I could watch. We didn't have YouTube or these other training platforms. There was DVDs that I was trying to learn from, but I ended up just hustling and I got 3 more sales. So I got 4 sales my first day, and I feel like I struggled some, but I learned to communicate quickly. Like it
Mm.
was a simple enough product that it was easy for me to connect with people. And it was interesting. Luke Toon, this one of the founders of Legacy Power, him and I and Casey Boss started the same summer. And
Oh,
Luke called me in like July, and I was the top rep up until then. And he was like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "I don't know. I'm talking to everybody." He's like, "No, but like, what are you saying, or what are you doing?" And I was like, "Dude, the only thing that I think I'm doing different than other people in my office is I run from house to house." And he was like,
holy
"What?
smokes.
Like you run?" I
No
was like,
way.
"Yeah, I legit run. I'll cut through people's grass before they can say, 'Don't run on my lawn.' I'm already knocking the next door." And he was like, "Okay." So he started running from house to house
Hey,
because
that's
I
awesome.
was the
That is
top rep.
amazing.
And he was like, "I guess that if that's what you do, then that's what I
Yeah.
need to do." He ended up passing me. He ended up being first, and Casey was second, and I was third for the summer. But I
Wow.
legit was
That's a
just
that's a stacked three stacked people right
yeah,
there
yeah,
competing.
competing,
That is
man.
awesome.
And honestly was something that was a part of my sports background, my fitness background of just like hustling and working, being
Yeah.
from a family of 8 kids and having to, find my way within my 7 siblings and just
Mhm.
being a little scrappy. I think there's less of that than there should be in today's sales world. People want give me, they get some lead babies, they get a lead 2 or 3 times, and then they don't know how to hunt. They don't know how to work
True.
for it,
Yeah.
or whatever. But anyway,
Yeah, no, that's a great point. That's a great point. Our day and age, I don't know anybody that's running door to door at this stage of the game like you just told me about. I mean, that's incredible.
Yeah.
Nowadays we're on the segways, right? We're kind of running, but working with the scooters.
Yeah. 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 In
That's awesome, man.
February
I
is
didn't know
in
that story. I don't think I remember that story at least that you
really.
started running and then that you just thought to do that. You didn't even no one had told you to do that. You're new to this and you just decided, well, that's the best way that I'm going to make the money that I need to make.
Yep.
And so I'm going to do it.
The faster I can talk to people, it's not necessarily me versus you, it's me versus me. But if
Yeah.
it was me versus you, and we both in if I'm able to talk to 10 more people than you in a day, I have more chances of being successful than you, right?
Wow. That is amazing.
If our skill level's the same, for sure I do.
Yeah.
I just have more at bats. If your skill
Hmm.
level is better than mine, then maybe I'm making up for some of my lack of skill by my hustle, right?
That's cool.
And
Yeah.
so, yeah.
That's awesome. No, that's amazing. So then, okay, so you did the satellites. What took you into the solar realm? And I got obviously that's where we met, and we can talk about it in a second. But what got you into solar from there?
Well, so we did satellites for 3 years. Then our company
Okay,
was going out of business, and half of the company we split. Half the company went to Apex, which is now Vivint Alarms, and half the company went to Pinnacle, and I went to Pinnacle, and I went with Doug Robinson and Luke Toon to Pinnacle. So I sold with them for 3 years, and then I was just done with door to door sales, man. I didn't like the summer model anymore. I was just done with it, and I moved to San Diego to start some businesses with my brother. And I lost my tuition. I paid my tuition to school, Hard Knocks. I lost a bunch of money in a carpet recycling business, and then I got into LED lighting. Then I did a business networking group, and then I got roped back into solar in, like I said, 2013, 2014. And so I did 3 years before, or 6 years, three satellites, three alarms, 3 years doing other things, entrepreneurial ventures, and then back into solar. And I've been in that for over 12 years. And the way I got back into solar was that relationship with Luke and Doug. So I knew that they were crushing it in alarms. And Luke called me, and I know he was making over a 500,000 a year doing alarms. And he said, "Hey, man, I'm thinking about leaving alarms and going to solar. I trust you more than anybody else I know. I want to have you come up to corporate and just make sure I'm making a good decision." And I knew he was going to try to recruit me, but I also thought, if he's leaving 500,000 a year, this must be good and must be worth a look, right? So I flew up to what was then Vivint Solar, fell in love with the idea of solar, saving people money, giving them solar panels for no cost up front as long as their credit score and roof were good, and they saved money day one. Like it was just an absolute no brainer to me, and I got into solar. So I was with Vivint Solar for the first 8 months, and then Legacy started, Legacy Power, and I was their first sales guy, unofficially or officially their first employee
wow,
way back then. Yep.
dang, I didn't know that either. That's really cool. Okay, so I'm curious there with when you got out of the door to door because you were over it, and I understand that the summers are hard. It is a grind, right?
Yeah.
What? Okay, so was that a hard thing going from like, okay, I'm going to move on, I'm going to start these businesses, and then kind of it sounds like things didn't go as planned, and you kind of almost had to pivot again. Tell me that experience, or like what was that like? Because that sounds like I don't know, sounds hard to me at least having to deal
Yeah.
with that.
So I one thing I'll say, I'm not sure how broad your listeners are or whatever, but one thing I'll say to anybody listening is there's a
Hmm.
lot of ways to make a lot of money in this world. And
Absolutely.
sometimes sales guys get real narrow minded, like, dude, if I can't make this work, bro, what am I going to do? Like, how am I going to make money? And
Yeah.
I have a brother that does really, really well. I don't know how his business is doing right now, but I know at one point he was making like a 500,000 a year importing sand from Mexico. When we have sand in the United States,
Yeah. Yeah. It's true.
he
It's like
was
what the
he,
heck.
yeah, dude, like, but he was
Yeah.
making great money because he
That's
figured
awesome.
out this niche, and he figured
It's a
out this
niche.
place to buy
Yeah.
sand, and he figured out the process to ship sand from Mexico into the United States, and all the papers and all the customs and all the stuff, and turn a profit. So there's a lot of ways that you can make money in this world. And sometimes, like I said, sales guys will get in this focus like, dude, this is the only thing I can do. And not that I'm discouraging you from making your sales and your door to door sales career, because I am all about it. I've been in it for almost 20 years, and I love it. And it's the best training ground of any business ever, in my
Totally.
opinion.
Totally.
And but there's lots of other ways to make money. So when I finally was, it was the right time, and it was maybe God saying, "Hey, this is time for you to get out of this door-to-door sales and get more year-round opportunity and structure for you and your family." I had a little baby, had a wife, and didn't want to do go to all these different markets every summer, drag them around. So it was good. It was fun. And my brother, when I was let him know that I was planning on leaving door-to-door sales, he's like, "Hey, dude, come visit me in San Diego. If you're a door-to-door sales guy, you're basically an entrepreneur. If you're 100% commission, you're an entrepreneur coded that you're a sales guy. I have 18 different business ideas. Come and visit me, and we'll talk about them." And I said to my wife, I was like, "We haven't visited Jordan for a vacation for a while. Let's go to San Diego and just go on a vacation. And I'll go to lunch with
Yeah.
him. I'll listen to his ideas." And he legit had 18 different ideas. We talked
Man,
through all of them. I thought three were good, and we started two: the carpet recycling business that I referenced, and then a cement powder
cool.
business, kind of
Cool.
some off the wall businesses. And it
Yeah.
was good, dude. He was right.
That's
Running
awesome.
a 100% commission job, and running or starting a business, same,
Very simple.
same. You've got more costs, and you've got more expenses. You've got more to think about for sure than just knocking on doors and making your commission or not. So
Mm-hmm.
there's that difference and some education there. But for the most part, man, if you're a door-to-door sales guy, you're an entrepreneur and you can start businesses.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah,
That's
started that
okay.
stuff and did well there. And then I don't know if some of the question was, was that hard to go to that? And then was it hard to come
Yeah.
back, like kind of like
Yeah.
you?
That's my question. Like, was it hard to get out of it and then get back into it? What were those feelings like of like, oh, I thought I left and now I'm kind of getting back. And it's still different though. I mean, solar is completely different than satellite. So I'm not saying they're the same, but
Yeah.
just
Yeah, I think there's a stigma around door-to-door sales. It's the pit of sales, and
yep.
you only do it if you have to,
Mm-hmm.
not you do it because you want to.
Want to.
So,
Yeah.
like, Ashton, were you humbled that you had to go back and go knock on doors again? And how I started, I was in this business networking group before solar, and I was like, "Yeah, dude, everyone loves me in here. I've got a few hundred members. They all love me,
Mm,
and I'll get into solar and I'll just call all of them and they'll all buy from me."
nice.
And so I was spending like 90% of my time networking and 10% of my time knocking on doors, and I was getting okay results. And then Luke
Mm,
called me. He's like, "Ashton, dude, you're actually really good at knocking doors, bro. Will you go 50-50? Will you create 50% of the time you're knocking on doors and 50% of the time you're networking? Can you give me that and just see how your results go?" And I was like, "Fine, whatever." And I did that 50-50. Instead of 90% networking, I did 50% networking and 50% door knocking, and my results went through the roof. And he was
that's
like,
awesome.
"See, I told you." And then I switched it to now it's like 90% door knocking. Or when I was in my normal
Prime.
grind, yeah, in my prime, it was 90% door knocking, 95% door knocking, and maybe 10% networking, right?
Mm.
So, and then my results were just like way up there. So is it humbling? Is it humbling to like go back to door and be like, "Oh man, you lost, or you didn't make it out," or whatever?
Yeah.
Some people can look at it
That's
that
what
way.
people are thinking it that way. Yeah. Not
Yeah.
you though. I like it.
And
I
I have
like
and
it.
I have family members that are also like that. And I'm like, "Man, I've made more money than you have in just about every year, even though I'm knocking on doors and you're in some cushy suit,
Yeah. Totally.
like it doesn't
Totally.
really matter how you make your money as long as it's honest
No,
and
it's
ethical."
so true. Yeah, no. And when I was in door to so I'm obviously selling virtually now, but no, like it's sales. And so it's like it's just because and I actually meant like there's some awesome stuff about being outside and being able to walk around that is like phenomenal with door to
Yeah.
door sales. So yeah, absolutely, man. And I think that it's just being an entrepreneur, you're betting on yourself. You're saying, "Hey, I can go out here and make it happen." So I totally agree, man. That's awesome. Okay, so you got in with Legacy. Now, this is where I met you in Arizona, and if I remember, we went to Lifetime. We worked out together, and I'll share a couple of things that I remember from that. I don't know. There was a couple of things that impacted me that day. I don't know how old at the time, and Ashton was coming to speak to our office, and I'm pretty excited. But Ashton's like, hey, he hits me up because he knows obviously I go to the gym quite a bit and I love it, right? I post about it all the time, and so we link up at the gym and we get a workout together, which was awesome. It was super fun, and you're asking me the whole time, like, hey, what are these people like out here in Arizona? Like, what are they saying to you? What objections are you getting? Super curious, and I'm like, man, does this guy know that I'm not that I'm just new. Like I'm not doing very well. Like I'm doing okay, I'm making it, but I'm not, you know, that guy that I'm trying to ask you that. And I thought it was really cool cuz I was like, this is what I've been getting. These are the objections I'm getting, and you just kind of sat down and talked with me, and I just couldn't believe. I was like, man, this guy's been in the industry for years and years, and I've been in the industry for a year, right? And he's asking me for tips and advice and things that we should do while we're here in Arizona. And you were just excited to get on the doors. I remember I'm like, dang, this guy's excited to get on the doors. I thought this guy would be excited to talk to us maybe at the office, but I didn't even think he'd be out here knocking. That was kind of my perception of like the leaders that I've been around. They were just in the office, they were just talking and telling us what to do. But I remember that, and then I remember a couple advices you gave me about like being married. You told me like, hey, make sure to continue to date your wife. You also gave me another thing. You said, and this thing I haven't been super good at, but I'll mention it because it's still impacted me a lot. You said, make sure that you every month write in your calendar to give your wife a blessing. And I was like, okay, that's I've never heard of this, but okay. And since that day, I haven't always given my wife a blessing every month. I'm not gonna say I've been perfect, but every time that thing comes up on my calendar, I say a very deep prayer for my wife. And it's been such a awesome thing. And so those are the things that I just wanted to share about you that have stuck with me to this day. And so I appreciate you, man. Like you taught me so much. You continue to teach me a lot, but that was kind of our moment at the gym, I remember, and it hit me to this day. So much more I could say, but
That's awesome,
I just
man. Thank
appreciate
you
it,
for
man.
saying
I
those things,
appreciate it.
dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are things I want to be remembered for. I want to be so you would appreciate this as a physical guy. The guy that started judo was it,
Hmm.
oh no, am I messing it up? Started judo or jujitsu? Crap, I can't remember which one. I need to remember this. But he was a grandmaster. I want to say he was going from jujitsu to judo. He was a grandmaster at jujitsu, just crushed everybody. And then he created judo or vice versa, however it is. And he started it and created it. And he was, again, became a grandmaster. But when he died, he wanted to be buried in his white belt, not his black belt, because he said that because the next place he was going, he always wanted to be the learner. He was the learner. He was the expert in his field, an expert on all these things, but he always wanted to live like he was a learner. And that's how I also always want to live. And you experience that from me being like, oh, how do we, what are you hitting here? What's going on here? What are the objections? Like, I always want to learn. I have lots to give, but I believe a couple things. And I read this in the scriptures just the other day that I believe, and I teach my girls this, that no one is better than them. And I believe that no one, I'm not better than you. You're not better than me. And that I'm not better than anyone either. We're the
Mm,
same. We're the same. We're all God's children, same, same. I don't care if you got $1 billion. I don't care if you're crazy poor. You're not better than me, and I'm not better than you. That's something that I believe to my core, that we're all the same. And with that, that also means that I can always learn from anyone. You're a brand new rep, and I've been in this for 20 years, dude. What do you see? Where is it coming from you? How can I learn from you? Like, what do you have? And some of the most brilliant things come out of the newest reps. And I'm like, dang, dude, I've never looked at it like that before. I've never seen it at that angle. I've been in this for so long. I think there's one way to go about it. And then you just said this thing at a completely different angle. I'm like, bro, I should actually, that's really good. You know what I
yeah.
mean? And
Yeah.
so I'm glad that you had that experience with me because that's who I always want to be. I want to be a learner. I want to be a grandmaster, but wearing my white belt because I want to learn more all the
That's
time,
awesome.
you know?
No, that makes a ton of sense. That's awesome. No, that'll stick with me as well. That's a great story. When it comes to I guess becoming like on this journey that you've been on, right? Looking back, right? And I love that you keep sharing about your kids and what you teach them because that's so big. Like that's so like I love that. I want to hear that so I can teach my kids the same thing. But like if you were to like I love learning from people that are successful. And usually it's comes down to the basics and usually it's the same answers, but I love hearing those same answers because it instills that there is no shortcuts other than you become really good at the basics, right? Like Michael Jordan, he got so good at doing chest passes that he would do them the first thing at practice every time, right? And you're like, but he was so good at scoring, but he did the basics so well. So I'm curious in your mind, looking back now, all the things you've done in door to door and you've mastered this skill set, right? You're compared to a lot of people at least, or the people like me that think that of you. What separates you from average reps, from the average people that come into sales? It could be any sales. It doesn't have to be door to door. It could be phone sales. It could be, Zoom calls like I do. What is it that like how would you explain the separation? How would you explain the difference in your mind?
You nailed it already, but I'm going to give you two things. I got a text today. It's my birthday.
Mhm.
And one of the nicest things, they maybe didn't realize how nice it was, but I responded back saying, "Hey man, thank you. That was so nice of you to say." But one of the things that about me that you've already kind of alluded to and said is he said, this guy texted and said, "You're like one of the most consistent people I know." And that's what makes people great. The best guys in sales say about the same thing just about every time. And they make it sound like it's not brand new. Or they make it sound like it's brand new, sorry, not like it's like recorded. They are crazy consistent in their work ethic. They're crazy consistent in their studying to become better at their craft. They're crazy consistent at all the inputs, right? And so what's made me really really successful is that I ran door to door and I was consistent at hustle. I wouldn't cut out on hours. Too often in sales, having a good day or a bad day, both are good excuses to cut out early. Dude, I'm sucking today. I'm just going to bounce. Or, bro, I already got 3 sales today. Like, I'm going to cut out early and go spend some time with my family. Both of those aren't the right answer, in my opinion. There is some times where you can reward yourself, like I'm going to go get 3 sales today, and once I get 3 sales, then I'm done. Okay, if that's the game you're going to play that day, that's fine. But on a consistent basis, if you're always cutting out early, the law of averages and the law of numbers is just going to eat you up, man. So the top guys are crazy consistent over and over and over again. They're relentless in their pursuit for success and perfection and whatever else. The Mamba mentality, old Kobe Bryant just loses the NBA finals and then then flies over to Team USA. You've heard the story. He flies over to Team USA and Chris Bosh is like, I'm gonna show everybody that I'm the
Oh
leader and I'm
yeah.
gonna get up before them. And he wakes up early and goes to the gym and Kobe's already in a deep sweat, been in the gym for like an hour, and just chasing that all the time. So consistency. And then the other one that I'm going to share with you that you're going to be like, wow, dude, I've never, maybe you've heard of this or thought of this way. I don't know. But I have a sincere love for people.
Mm,
I'm really successful in sales because of love. I was a missionary for my church. I referenced that earlier. And one of the best advices I ever got was to love the people. I served my mission in New Zealand, and the best advice was go love the people. And I have such a deep love for people from New Zealand. It's insane. There's like my family and then everybody in New Zealand. I just love them so much. And when I connect with people, when I go to a person's door, in my heart, I look at them as a really amazing person and I love them. And I know that I'm an amazing person full of love. And we're about to have an amazing experience together. And that's different than most interactions and most salespeople. Most salespeople are churning to find a number, they're trying to find a dollar, they're trying to find whatever. And that energy that you bring to your appointment over the phone, over Zoom, in person, is felt. They can feel, they can hear your intentions. And it's hard in sales, particularly commission sales, if you're 100% commission, to like not have commission breath. It's super hard, but it's super important, right? If they can feel that you need this sell, like please, please, like even if it's really good for them, like dude, I don't know if this is good for me or not because I'm getting a vibe that like this guy's just trying to push something on me, right? Versus like, hey, dude, I really love you, and I'm gonna have a blunt conversation with you if you're gonna be not so nice to me because this is out of love, right? And the scriptures talk about, love casteth out all fear. So your fear goes away if you like sincerely love people. The fear of no, the fear of rejection, the fear of whatever. Like, okay,
Mhm.
I still love you. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? So
that's awesome.
that's probably a different answer than you get from most people, but
No, that was absolutely never thought of it that way. I am curious to go a little deeper on that though. So I've interviewed a lot of people that are very successful in sales, and I'm trying to find. I like to look for, I guess, patterns. And one of the patterns is what you just said a little differently. And so I want to know like how you tie that in. There's this ability, people that are very good at sales have this ability of almost this abundance mindset of, like you said, you're not needy, you're not like trying to get the sale in a weird way. You're almost just wanting to help or serve that person instead of I'm trying to sell this person. How did you get to that place of abundance, and I guess that, like what you said, like love for that person instead of the sales breath, the I need this for myself mentality, especially at the beginning, and even where you're at now, like to keep that mentality going? What are some things that you would say have helped you get to that place?
yeah, dude, repetition, mental reps. Just like you're doing reps in the gym to get strong, you got to do mental reps too. And pouring into myself and understand, like just maybe some years of experience. I was, you get assigned an area when you're in the summer sales program, and they say work your area, right?
Hmm.
So you got this little area. You're like, dude, if I don't get sales in here, you can look at it like one or two ways of like, crap, man, I only have this amount of people, and if I fail enough or whatever, there's not enough. Or look at it like, dude, there's so much. And I was taught about the law of abundance versus law of scarcity early on in my career, like at that
Yeah.
very first company selling satellites. There was some really good training on the law of abundance versus the law of scarcity. And it takes a lot of mental reps to truly believe that there is abundance. But let me give you, and because let me give you a quick example of solar. So I'm looking out, I'm at my house and I'm looking out my window, and I'm in a neighborhood that has probably 75% solar. Just about everybody has solar where I live, and they should, because their bills are expensive and they're really high. But I could probably, actually not, well, maybe, yeah. I could probably find 10 houses from where I'm sitting and see, or actually on my street, there's at least 10 houses that don't have solar. All of them could have solar. If I sold all of those 10 houses solar, and that's just one little street, then 10 houses times a solar commission, that's a lot of money. That's more than a teacher's salary, right? And 10 houses on my little street. And guess what? This is just a tiny little part of a big community, and then there's a city, and then there's a county, and then there's a, right? So anyway, we get like, oh man, there's not enough, not enough, not enough, and there's so much. The other thing about abundance and in sales in particular is that
Hmm.
everything that you see, everything I see on your camera, like you were born from your mom and dad, but your AirPods, somebody sold that. The microphone, somebody sold that. Somebody sold the metal to the microphone company to make that
Hmm.
microphone, and somebody sold the screws to the microphone company to make that. And then you got your picture in the back, and you got the frame, and you got the glass, and you got the jersey, and you've got the, like, just in this little thing that I'm just seeing right here. And you look around, like, you look at a tree, and most trees, those are made from God, but the landscaping was sold. So this grass, somebody sold the grass at my house to the first developer, and then you this couch and these, anyway, just about everything that you see besides the sky can be sold or bought, right? So there's so much abundance, there's so much, like, there's way more sales, there's way more everything for everyone out there. There's no reason for us to be closed minded and think, oh man, there's a lack, because there's not. There's an abundance. And then when you go into an interaction with that, like that, one of the things that goes through my head is when I'm talking to a potential prospect is, hey, you don't have to do this. Somebody is going to do this though, and it's going to be better for them or for whoever does it than what they currently have. It might as well be you. And in solar that I sell, you got a fridge, right? Yeah, okay. Well, you might as well get a discount to keep your fridge plugged in. Why don't you go get your bill? We can talk more about it once you go get your bill, right? Like,
That's awesome.
I'm. But if you don't, all good. My mind is like, if you don't, that's okay, because your neighbor's going to get it. So you can either be like your
Yeah,
neighbor or not be like your neighbor, whatever. It doesn't bother me, right?
totally. Oh
I don't
man,
know if
that's
that
good.
was a little bit of a rant there. I going
Well,
on about
that's good.
selling all this different
That's
stuff, but
I mean, yeah, it's I always think of it this
abundance.
like it's so interesting the dichotomy, right? On one hand, like you said to your I think you said to your daughter the scenario of everybody or no one's better than you. But also it's the dichotomy of the humility as well. Like you have the confidence in what you're selling and what you can provide to somebody, but you on the other hand, you're humble in the fact that you don't have to do it. And so it's this dichotomy, and it's such an interesting thing, right? Where you have to have the confidence, but you also have to have the humility, and you can't just pull one lever or the other. If
Yeah.
you're just, you're not going to sell anybody, right? And if you're just a bulldozing, confident guy that isn't listening, you're not going to sell anyone either. That's kind of
Yeah.
what came to my mind from that. But that's good. The mental reps, the ability to I think you do a really good job at reframing the way that you think about things. From what I'm understanding, you just reframe
Yeah.
it in a way where it's like, oh, that makes sense to be abundant. There's a million things
Totally.
behind me that have been sold. There's a million things in front of me that are going to be sold. It's on to the next.
Yeah. Dude,
Yeah.
and you make a good point. I do, and again, reps, mental reps. I look at life as an opportunity and an opportunity to choose. So every situation that we're in is an opportunity to choose, and I get to choose how things go. Just this morning, we were driving. My daughter had a championship field hockey game. They won junior, middle
Let's
school,
go.
field hockey champions. Go East Lake Middle School.
Nice. That's
Um,
awesome.
but I say it to her enough, like, "Hey, Janie, how's your day gonna go? Are you gonna have a good day?" She's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna have a good day." And I'll say, "How? Why are you gonna have a good day?" And she'll say, "Because I said so." Because yeah, you get to choose how it
Nice.
goes. And I look at life as I'm winning or I'm learning, which is a win. So I'm always winning. Like a loss to me is actually not a loss. It's just data for me to learn from so that I can go
Hmm.
win in a different way. Right.
Yeah.
And so any kind of potential loss, I've lost thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars in investments. That's just an opportunity. That was just a win and it
Totally.
disguised as losing money so that I could learn not to invest in that thing next time and or how to have conversations or how to bring people in or I lost a sales competition. It wasn't a loss. It was actually just a learning experience. Now I got to learn how to do things a little bit differently, talk to people differently, whatever. So I do reframe things. I choose, and sometimes it's people are like, dude, that's not realistic to think that way. And I actually think it's like the best way to live. I just want to live
Yeah.
happy and I want to frame everything that everything is working out for me because it is. And as I
Yeah.
continue to always look at it that way, then guess what usually ends up happening? Ends up working
Selling,
out.
man. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
that's great. Yeah, you do. You do a great job of reframing. That's awesome. Okay, let's switch gears a little bit because I also wanted to talk about fitness with you as well because you are a super fit dude. You've got kids, you got a family, and somehow you're able to stay in amazing shape. So, first of all, like how do you feel being in shape, taking care of your health, the vitality of things impacts sales? I guess we can start there and then we'll dive into like your routines and whatnot.
The getting fit has helped me with my overall confidence. So if you're less confident in sales or more confident in sales, which do you think is going to help you sell more?
Yeah, you gotta be
The more
more confident.
confidence, right?
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
when I wrestled in high school and college, but then I kind of let myself go, dude. I didn't work out or exercise for a number of years, like for quite a long time. My wife did, but we had young kids and somebody had to stay home and I let her have the prime time running time in the morning and then I would get going doing my job and other things and I hardly worked out and my wife was mad because I saw a definition in my biceps and I was like I did 100 push-ups a day in 6th grade. I developed that early, but
Yeah. Yeah, muscle won't
Um,
go away, yeah.
yeah, and then I started getting in better shape. In 2020, I bought a new house, the house I'm in now, and I put a pull-up bar in the garage, and I thought, I want to do 50 pull-ups in a row. I'd never heard anybody do that before. I'd never done that before. It just kind of came out of nowhere. And so I was
Mhm.
kind of building up to that, and I decided that, you know what, it's going to be hard for me to do 50 pull-ups in a row if I'm fat. So I started to eat healthier and I started to work out other muscles and get a little bit stronger. Anyway, I don't need to give you this big long story, but I have got myself into really good shape. And today a friend was texting me, he's like, dude, you're 44 with the body of a 21-year-old, or whatever.
Literally. No,
And
totally.
I feel really, really healthy, and it's helped me in my cells for sure. I'm super confident in my body. I'm super confident in who I am. I look good. It feels
Mhm.
good to look good. I feel healthy. Now when I eat junky things, my body's like doesn't like it, and it makes me happy and sad. Happy because my body's telling me like don't have crap. Give yourself
Yeah,
premium fuel, not crappy fuel. And it makes me sad because I love sugar and I
yeah.
love
Don't we
treats.
all? Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm
Absolutely.
like, oh, I
Yeah.
want to eat that because it tastes so good.
Yeah.
But anyway, sorry, that
Yeah.
was a long answer to your question.
I always say like this, like we all love sugar, and it's funny because I feel like just the fitter you get, or as you go on that journey, you do still enjoy those things. It's just you almost have to like be very delicate when you do, and it has to be very good. Like your level of, if
Yeah.
I'm gonna enjoy something, it's
Yes.
got to be premium. At least for me, it's like it's got to be premium, best cookies or like the best dessert I can think of, because I don't want to feel like crap after for nothing. You know what I
Or a
mean? I
crappy
don't
thing.
know.
Yeah, dude. I never in
Exactly.
my
It's
life,
kind of
like
like
10 years
it's
ago
like
as a kid, if I was
yeah,
eating a cookie, no matter if the cookie was good or bad, of
it
course I'm
did
going to finish the cookie. Now,
totally.
if I have like a crappy stuff, I'm like, I don't want the rest of this. It's not worth it.
Exactly. It's not.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's so good. Okay, so it's helped you with confidence. What's one
Confidence and
okay,
then also discipline, dude. Discipline,
discipline.
like
Yeah.
being disciplined to get in the routine, to always be doing that. If I'm disciplined in the gym, that stuff spills over, right? It spills over to I can be more disciplined in other areas too because I've already done this thing and I'm a disciplined person because of it.
Love it.
Sorry, you were gonna go another
So
route.
I'm following you on Instagram, right? So I know about your non-negotiable Monday workouts. And so I want to know, where did that originate from? Why do you do that? Yeah, like what, tell me more about this Monday non-negotiable you working out.
Yeah, so it originated, and it's kind of like it spilled into Door Destroyer a little bit, right? Like this is some of the genesis of it. So I when I first started getting back into working out,
Mhm.
again, I took a number of years where I'd only gone for a run for like I don't know 3 or 4 times a whole year, and that was like my extent of my exercise. It was really bad, but I was like, I'm gonna work through. I'm not gonna put an unrealistic goal and say I have to work out 6 days a week and just rest on Sunday. I'm going to do 3 days. Okay. And so, what would happen to me, what happens to a lot of salespeople or business people or mom or dad or anybody, is Monday morning, I would get my clothes on, I would get ready, and then I'd get my phone and I'd see an email that I would respond to or a text message. And then that would lead into me digging into a couple other emails or a couple other text messages. And then da 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 da. And then the next thing I know, I'm still in my workout gear and it's 8 o'clock at night and I'm sitting at my desk and I'm like, dude, what a waste. I didn't get a workout in. I got to put the kids to bed. I got to do this. So then what I recognize is that if I didn't work out on Monday, I often didn't work out on Tuesday. So, but I had six days, Monday through Saturday for 3 days. So I only have to work out every other day. But if I don't work out Monday, now I have 5 days. Lots of times, if I didn't work out Monday, I wouldn't work out on Tuesday. So now I've got 4 days to get 3 workouts in. That's kind of some pressure. I gotta get these workouts in, right? So I noticed that I was doing that over and over and over again, and I wasn't getting my workout in. And then I was like, dude, if I without a doubt work out on Monday and I make that a non-negotiable for my health. I have some core things about me. I'm trying to have a meaningful connection with my body, with my spirit, with my mind, with my wife, the spirit, and with my God, with my wife, with my 4 daughters before 10 a.m. every single day. Meaningful connection. And I was like, if I have I have to make this Monday non-negotiable. And I started posting it that it was a non-negotiable, mostly for me, not for you. I've been doing
To
it for
hold
long
yourself
enough that
accountable.
to hold
To
me
hold your
accountable.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This
That's
is
cool.
non-negotiable. I have to tell people about it so that I make sure that I do it. And then people
Mm.
are going to hold me accountable. It's funny how people next message me like, bro, do you only work out on Monday? I'm like, yeah, I work out everything on Monday. That's it. I work out 5 days a week right now, sometimes six.
Yeah. Okay.
But,
Nice.
like, I that one is super important for me because then if I worked out on Monday, guess what? I often worked out on Tuesday, and now I'm the opposite problem, not problem, but I only have 1 more workout and 4 more days to do it, right? And so I realized and then after I, got back into it and I did 3 days and I was like, "You know what? I can do 4 days a week as long as I get my non-negotiable Monday workout in, then I'll usually probably work out Monday and Tuesday, and then I got 2 more days I got 4 more days to do 2 workouts. I can totally do that." Right? And now I'm at 5 days a week. Sometimes I exercise on Saturdays and sometimes not, but Monday through Friday, I'm for sure going to work out. And it became non-negotiable for me, and it was super important for my health. The things that are actually most important. I can't be that useful to my wife and my kids if I'm in a wheelchair. I can't be that useful to them if I'm not here. I can't be that useful to playing with my kids and grandkids. One of my goals, lifelong goals, is to have a six pack when I'm 70.
I
And that
love
is less
that.
about having a
Let's
six
go.
pack and more about what it's going to take for me to be healthy so that when I'm 70 that I look like this, right? And
Yeah.
I probably won't look like this. But I don't know any 70-year-olds that have a six pack. I'd be pretty cool to be one of them. You know what I mean?
There you go. You're going to
But
start a trend
but
here.
start a trend, but the
Yeah.
health and knowing what it's going to take to get there, that really pulls me forward when I'm eating. Like what I'm eating right here today, is this actually going to help me to have a six pack when I'm 70 and be super healthy when I'm 70? I don't know. If it's not, then I'm not going to do it. um but that's kind of where the non-negotiable part came in, and then I
Yeah.
started focusing more on my health, and then like the supplements, like in door-to-door sales, I see way too many people living off monsters. I see way too
Yeah.
many people living off of gas station food.
Energy drinks, man, in the
Yeah,
door-to-door industry for sure. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
and
That's
and
true.
and I eat really healthy. Even like today, like I eat really healthy. I eat clean. I'm scrubbed out of a lot of sugar. Last year, I had 3 full months where at different times I had no sugar for the whole month, and I eat really healthy. When I go to restaurants, something I'm super proud of now and happy about is that I look for the most healthy thing on the menu, and the most healthy thing is actually what I want. It's not that I'm just doing it because it's like painful. Like I
That's
actually
awesome.
want that from my body.
Yeah.
But I still have to supplement. Like I need more protein in my diet. I
Absolutely.
Taking creatine every day is actually super healthy for your body and for your brain.
Mhm.
If you need help sleeping or want to get into deeper sleep, I've learned more about sleep. Sleep is actually crazy important for recovery, for so many things. And before I was in the grind mode of like, dude, if I get 4 or 5 hours of sleep, that's enough because I'm in the hustle mode. And that probably took years off my life and was less efficient and effective in those years because if I would have slept, my body would have been able to recover better. I'd be
Mhm.
sharper. And so I've got supplements with my door destroyer to help people get into a deeper sleep. Anyway, so some of that just kind of all came from that, and like, why not, man? What's a great industry for people to get healthier and to have some like a brand like association with it, right? If every time
Yeah.
took some protein and creatine this morning, and guess what I'm scooping? I'm scooping door destroyer, and it's going back to my subconscious. It's helping me in my sales that
Mm.
I'm taking this pre-workout, or I don't take pre-workout, sorry, creatine and protein because I'm scooping it and it's telling my subconscious that I'm a door destroyer. That's who I am
Yeah.
because
That's awesome.
that's what I'm taking right now, right? So
Nice.
anyway, I a lot of it came from that, and started out with being non-negotiable Monday workout, and it spilled
That's
into a lot
awesome.
of things. Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I always see them like that. That's awesome. So, a couple things I want to take away from there. The momentum, I believe, is the biggest thing there. It's like if you can do it on Monday and it's non-negotiable, the momentum will carry you through the week, which that's in sales and that's also with your fitness. And then this other thing that you said that I caught subtly. You said you have this huge goal at 70, but it's impacting you in your day right now. I mean, we could go down that rabbit hole, but like that, I think is super cool because sometimes we have these big dreams, but like we're not, we're like, oh, it's, it's 5 years away, or it's, it's whatever. It's such a long ways away that you can't really tangibly think about it right now, but you're able to like, no, like I got to do this right now because of this 20, 30-year goal down the line. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I thought that was super cool too. But yeah, that makes a ton of sense with why you started the company and the whole thing with working out on Monday. So thanks for sharing
Yeah.
that.
Can I go down that rabbit hole of that goal that's out there a little bit?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can. Absolutely. Let's
So
do it.
the
Let's do it.
I'm 44. How old are you right now?
I'm 29. 29.
29. So you're still
Yes,
in your
I'm 29.
20s.
Almost 30.
As a
Yep.
young buck, uh, not that you feel like you're invincible, but you don't really think about death. You kind of like I'm gonna live for a long time. I've got lots of years ahead of me. You
Totally.
can kind of eat what you want, do what you want, and it's totally fine. And I agree.
Mhm.
I totally agree. But I had this experience, man, that was kind of crazy. I've got four daughters now. I'm pretty sure they were all born. Maybe this experience when it happened when I had three kids. But I felt really, really sick once, and my throat was getting super tight. It was like a weird feeling, and I had an experience where I legit had a thought, a feeling, inspiration, whatever it was, of like, what if I don't wake up tomorrow? Like I could die tonight. And it hit me like a ton of bricks. I might cry thinking about it. Like, whoa. And I'd never thought of that in my 20s. And again, I can't remember if this was at my late 30s or whatever, but it wasn't that long ago, 4 or 5 years ago. So either when I was 39, 40, whatever. And I was like, dude, what if I actually died? And then it hit me of like, I could die tonight. And so I made sure I gave my girls really big loves that night. And I was a little nervous to go to sleep because I was like, what if I don't wake up? And when your own mortality and some of the Stoic principles is like to think about death often, and you're going to work and live differently if you're thinking about that. And I'm not on that realm where I'm thinking about that all the time. But as I
Yeah.
get older and my body is affected by different things, and I see these kids, and I think about my wife, and my one of my daughters, she accused me of taking pictures of everything. And to just today, I'm pondering my birthday, good time to reflect on my life. And I thought, you know what, man? Like, one of the reasons I take pictures of everything is because I don't want to miss anything. What if I die tomorrow? What if my kid dies tomorrow? I don't want that. I'm gonna grab every little thing I can. And I got way more photos than I ever share on social media. And some of it's like, dude, do you ever work? You just taking photos of all these things, all this play stuff. But it's because I want to capture that. And I've had the realization that I could die tomorrow. And so what's a better way to live? A better way to live would be to choose to be happy all the time. Check. I'm choosing to look at life that way. And I'm choosing to look at life that I'm winning, that everything's always working out for me, whether crap hits the fan or things are a bliss, everything's always working out for me. And I want to live really healthy. I could live really, I'd also be like, dude, I'm dying tomorrow, bro. I'm going to start smoking. I'm going to
Yeah.
start drinking.
Yeah, you could go the other
I'm
way.
dying
Yeah.
tomorrow, bro. I could just let it
Yeah.
go. Or I could be like, you know what, dude, I want to not die tomorrow. And I want to live as healthy as I possibly can forever. I want to have a six pack when I'm 80, when I'm 90, when I'm 100. And so some of that mortality of like that experience of like, dude, I legit feel like I may not wake up tomorrow was a shake in the boots experience, and but also an awesome experience. So now when I think about this 70-year-old goal, I do let it affect me today, because a lot of people have these big goals and I want to retire at this time, but they don't actually act like it every in the day to day, right? I want to be healthy forever, but they don't really act like it. They just say it, and it's nice
Mhm.
to say, but when it's on your mind and you're actually living according to those plans, you live differently. Anyway,
Wow,
there's a good
that was
rabbit hole for
powerful,
you.
man. That was a very powerful story. No, it's true, man. Like it's so true, and yeah, just the appreciation for every day is vital, man. If you really appreciate the day, then you're gonna take care of yourself, right, for the future, and today, right? So that's awesome. No, that was a powerful story. I know we're coming up on time here, and I want to respect your time as well, but I want to do three things. First, let's talk. So I'm going to put Ashton's Instagram in the show notes so that if you guys want to first, if you're in door to door, get some supplements, door to door destroyer, is that like the best place to send them to your Instagram and then they can find where to go from there? Or
Yeah,
what would you
yeah.
say, Ashton?
At
Okay.
at Ashton Buswell,
Boom. That's where you go.
ASHTONBUSWELL. Yep. Or doordestroyer.com. Yep. That's where the supplements
Doordestroyer.com.
are.
And
Yep.
then also, today's the first. Ashton does one of the coolest February challenges. I've done it, I think, 2 times now, and it's pushed me every single time, and it's been the best thing for me. And I'm going to do it again. I already filled out the form and whatnot. I don't know if this podcast will probably come out a few days after February, but are they still able to join that challenge, or what is that? What is that like, Ashton? Or do they
Totally.
have to wait till
Yeah.
next year? Or I don't know.
No, no, totally. So
Okay.
this year I'm renaming it. I did 28 deals in 28 days one year, and I was
Yeah.
pushing all my reps internally to do that. And I thought I should open that up to everybody
Uh-huh.
and have February be a launch pad for the year, because a lot of sales guys just kind of take January slow, December slow for sure, January slow, and it's kind of hard to get going. And we just need to get the rocket ship off the ground. So if you hear this mid-February and you're like, dude, I want to be a part of a sales culture or sales whatever, we'll have at least weekly meetings, probably more than that. We'll have a group meet set up where we'll just be helping each other to be better, and it's all about getting the rocket ship off the ground, whether you're going to do 28 deals in 28 days or 5, or just get momentum that this is who I am, this is what I'm going to do, whatever the case may be for you. It's a great challenge. Every February I do it, and I love helping people in it. It's free. It
Awesome.
doesn't cost you anything to.
Yeah, it's free. Same way. Just go to his Instagram and you'll be able to find it from there. But yeah, I'm going to do it. I'm excited to push again hard and just, I always say you can't be in balance all the time. You gotta, focus and still have balance in a weird way, but focus as well. There's got to be some
Yeah.
major focus. So that'll be
Yeah.
good for that. And then the third thing. So I like to wrap up these podcasts with just one question, and you don't have to, this is just, what would you say is your definition, right, of success at this point in your life right now?
A wife that loves you, that you love, children that love you, that you love. That's success. And a relationship with God. But those, like, the sometimes we work for our family, but we miss out on family stuff. And that's super important to me right now. The success, the sales and dollars amount and all that stuff would be really low on my list. But ultimate success is a happy home and a loving home where I love that my 13-year-old and my 16-year-old and my 8-year-old and my 5-year-old will all still hold my hand. That's ultimate success.
Thanks, Ashton. That's a great answer. I appreciate you coming on today. This has been powerful. I'll have you on again. Happy birthday, man. Hope all is well. Oh, one other thing. If you're looking for sales tips, a sales coach, someone to coach you, Ashton does that as well. He has his own company called, I believe it's Foundation
Foundational selling
Selling.
system. Yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
Foundation Selling System. Same place. Find it on his Instagram. But yeah, I appreciate you coming on, Ashton. Thanks so much. And until next time, man, have a great birthday.
Thanks, dude. Thanks for having me on.
All right, take care, brother.
Okay. See ya.